Hello guys, let's talk a little bit about anodizations today, okay? In my last video, the SE600 review video, I was clearly upset with why Zebralight, such a popular company that makes everything perfect, not have matching anodizations on their light, okay? And again, here I have two SE52 samples with non-matching anodization. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but in person, the light on the left is clearly lighter than the light on the right, okay? It bugs me enough that I did some research. All right. Let's imagine this light here with this anodization stripped down to bare aluminum, and we just let the bare aluminum sit in natural environment. A thin layer of aluminum oxide is going to form over the surface of the light. Okay, this thin layer of aluminum oxide has some very important characteristics that we want. Okay, so what manufacturers did is they put without all the electronics, obviously. They will, when it's just the shell, in bare aluminum, they would dip it in sulfuric acid, okay? And then a current of about 23 to 37 amps is added. So and then a chemical reaction takes place and aluminum oxide is formed over the surface. Artificially, okay? Okay, so the longer the chemical reaction process takes place, the thicker the anodization, okay? Roughly 50% of the thickness of the anodization penetrates into the surface, while the other 50% is on the surface, gives the anodizations that we see and feel, okay? The process typically takes about 25 minutes to, up to 2 hours, okay? At around 25 minutes, you get, the thickness can be around 50,000th of an inch, and if you go all the way up to 2 hour, you can get up to 2,000th of an inch thickness, okay? All of this chemical reaction is done at freezing temperatures. Okay, so why does Zebralights have non-matching anodization? The big question needs to be answered. Okay, their anodization process is called a class 1, which is a natural anodization process where a dye is not added to the chemicals. However, many other manufacturers, such as Nitecore, the Nitecore you see here, has a black dye added to the solution to give us an even black color. Okay, and that's called class 2. But that still doesn't, that explains why Zebralights have gray anodization, natural anodization, but not why the difference is in color. This question lies in the natural color of the aluminum. As we know, these aren't really pure aluminum. Pure aluminum is quite soft and it's not very desirable in terms of strength, okay? So this is an alloy. An alloy is basically a mixture of metal done to acquire certain key chemical mechanical properties that we're interested in, mostly for strength, okay, and corrosion properties and things like that. But aluminum itself is very rust-proof, okay. Okay, so acquiring these aluminum alloy at different batches from different places around the world, from different suppliers, will obviously have different colors naturally. So with the raw metal being in different color, varies in color naturally, when it's anodized, it will anodize darker or lighter according to the natural color of the metal. And that's why we have varying colors, okay? Okay, so why do we even anodize? Okay, mostly for corrosion resistance and a scratch resistance layer. The lights we see here are hard anodized type 3. Type 3 is a mil spec or military spec, which is a very, very strong finish, okay? It's so strong that you really have to dig into the surface and scratch the aluminum. Okay, otherwise it won't come off. It's very, very scratch proof. Okay, so in order to get a scratch, you have to dig into the aluminum to pull it out. Otherwise, it'll stay pretty for as long as you don't drop it. Aside from corrosion resistance, it's also forms a dielectric layer over the surface of the light, and that plays a key in a lockout features that most lights have when they anodize the threads. Okay, so you can see here that the anodize continues all the way to the end of the threads. Only the rear of the thread here is not anodized. So when the light is just slightly loosened, the connections between the tail cap to the body breaks or open. Okay, the circuit opens, so there are no parasitic drain, as opposed to a cheaper ultrafire light that I have here, which doesn't have any anodizations in the thread. Sometimes that's desirable, but most of the time it is not. And loosening the tail cap does not break the connection physically, and the light will always have parasitic drain if it has an E-switch. Okay. By the way, this light is an ultrafire. Don't buy anything that is not. The only fire that we trust is Surefire. Everything else are copycats and clones, okay? So don't buy anything that starts with whatever else and then fire. Like Ultrafire, Trustfire, stay away, okay? Alright. I guess that sums it up for anodization, I guess. That's everything that I know. Scratch resistance, corrosion resistance. Oh, I know. It's weird. Okay, but the anodizations also add lubricating properties. Okay, naturally, it's very slippery. Okay, low coefficients of friction, as opposed to just natural aluminum all over on top of itself. It's very, very gritty, and because natural aluminum or even aluminum alloy is quite soft, if you have aluminum rubbing on aluminum over time, which is less hard than the surface of anodization, you're gonna get wear, and over time the tail cap will go in and out like that. You see that? As opposed to having a thread that doesn't wear, that lubricates well, it's always tight. So there's another advantage. Alright, that is all I have to say about anodization. Thank you.